Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I'm not sure how this particular little video is going to go because I'm not even sure what exactly it is that I'm being tasked with on this one. But it has to do with the journey itself. So some of you are going to be coming into your actual life purpose, and the life purpose thing is going to be a little bit more complicated because it varies depending on each of your soul signatures. But from what I understand, it's going to be built on things that you pretty much are all about. So if you've always been a person that's honest, with integrity, and always been truthful, driven, then you're going to encounter a certain set of situations that are going to be testing you throughout, right? And so then at some point you will become a teacher of it. And so then you're going to have to go through it again, only you can't allow it to trigger you. Now you're teaching others by not reacting. And so it keeps morphing as you go through your journey. So it's a little complicated to speak to it. But when you find your life purpose, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a heads up as to what it looks like for me, right? Because one thing I'm definitely aware of is I'm 100% living my life purpose, and it has to do with broadening humanity and creationism and removing limits, helping the homeless, making sure that people are reach equality, that people stop living in victimization and all of that stuff. So my canvas is huge, right? But what's interesting is that the more in alignment I've been with my life purpose, the less I actually worry. It's a super surprising aspect to the journey because you figured that you would have more to lose, but then you realize if you're in alignment that you never actually lose anything. And so what actually happens is when you find your alignment, you suddenly become super calm in the face of true adversity. And it's one of those things that's very shocking to other people. And the reason that I found that for me at least that happens is because you need to get rid of those people. And the best way to do it is to see who arrives for you or steps in for you when the chips are down. Because those of you who are in a right alignment with God right now are facing some serious shit. Like you're about to lose your house, and you just lost your wife or husband, or someone died, and now the car breaks down. Like it's a series of things that look like unfortunate accidents or issues, but in truth are just because it's the last little push. You are exiting the marshes, and you are seeing the top of the trees, and you're waiting for the rescue boat to get you. But you realize that the only way to reach the rescue boat is for you to make the rescue boat out of what's underneath you, and that you have everything that you need by now, and now you're going to build it, and then you're just going to row your ass out. And then along the way, hopefully pick up other people along the path that are part of your journey into the future. Because what I have found very firmly is that in this journey, everything has been leveled. There is no connection to my past anymore. You'll see, aside from the house and being homeless and kind of having to find my way, also my unemployment has run out completely. So there's nothing from the past attached to me anymore. People, the people that are attached to me now are honestly, are new people that I met at the shelter, and then the three people that I currently am staying out with for tonight. And then they're staying with me because I'm taking them with me as people that will always be part of my life because they are good soul signatures, super strong personalities, and they're special people that at some point will learn who they are themselves. And then, of course, that's going to make it even stronger of a bond. But you see what I'm saying? So, but those are the three. That's it. Everybody else is gone. And then also the house is gone. And my income is gone. And so everything has been wiped. So at this point, when you find your path, you realize that you're on the path because you know everything's going to be fine. There's nothing to anchor you to what used to be. The only thing that can happen now is literally the future. The only thing that can happen now is salvation of some kind, finding a job, someone offering a contract, something having to do with a salvation of some sort or resurrection of your personality, your body, your soul, your life. It's a presentation of God's will that's going to take over because there's no option. But instead of looking at it from a place of, oh, woe is me, I'm looking at it from a place of, I've earned this. I have fought my entire life to get to this point because what I'm guaranteed now is resurrection. There's no place but to go up. But in order to do it, I had to lose it all. And so that's all you can get is you gain it all. So it's going to be even bigger and wider and more fantastic and more long term, and it's going to be in everybody's face, and not out of ego or out of pride, but because there's no other way to do it. The level of destruction, or I shouldn't say destruction, The level of demolition is so 100% in my life that I understand that I'm being given a brand new life. And you don't do that to someone who's just going to go halfway above where they're at. I'm talking about it's a whole different echelon and something that I earned. But I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how it's coming. I don't know when it's coming. I could be on the street. I know tomorrow I have no place to crash for the night. But so I might be on the street. But so what? So again, I'm just making more and more way for this to come quicker and quicker. The more I just accept the perceivable struggle and understand that it's not a struggle. It's a gift. And so it's a weird trick that you got to do with your brain. But in the end, you also realize at some point that God's not trying to trick you. It's about you understanding. At some point, the word trickery drops. And at some point, it becomes your brain understanding and your brain learning. And it becomes less negative and more proactive. And so when you're in alignment, you're going to find a weird 180-degree change that happens. And you're gonna hear things like people will warn you not to get triggered by the old things, but the truth is the old things aren't the same anymore. The person who is in right alignment with themselves that used to be a drug addict but actually isn't a drug addict is a sexual addict and hasn't dealt with their sexual addiction will always be a drug addict, right? So that's speaking to that. But if the person has mastered and taken care of the sexual addiction and right align themselves, then the drugs fade away because they have no place or need there anymore. It's not serving you anymore. So it falls off. And so then the same comment about you're going to get triggered if you surround yourself with it is no longer true because that person's at a different frequency. You understand something they don't. You've mastered your lesson. So you can be around it and just look at people and go, I have no problem with it. In fact, I totally get why you do it. I used to do it myself. Just not my thing. And so that's how you know you're on the right path. Also, you're going to be hated on, and it's going to be in your face, and you're going to get glimpses of it. And depending on what gifts you have, if you're a mystic like me, you actually get to hear it, and it's not pleasant. It's a horrible experience, but it just makes you stronger because then you recognize the red flags within the first couple words out of someone's mouth. Because one of the things that I used to wonder is why I would second guess myself when I met somebody and their soul signature didn't work with their personality. So I've met people like my ex who I was in love with. Well, he wasn't never my ex, but I was in love with this guy. He was my friend, I thought. And he was one of those happy people, always upbeat, always making people laugh, sexually out there, and just fun person. Never matched his soul signature. He's one of the most unhappy people on the planet as far as a soul signature. And so I kept thinking, mistakenly looking at this personality as someone that just needed a little bit of guidance or just needed love, unconditional. And I never realized that what I was looking at was I was looking for myself. I was looking at what I was lacking and what he was possessing. But he was a trickster and he was a manipulator and a liar and he's all a lower frequency narcissist. And so what happened there is that I put myself into the wrong aspect of what he was and projected myself onto him. And so I was trying to help him, but truth is trying to help myself. And so he kept getting away with it until finally one day I just went, my God, you never going to change, are you? And I just went, wow, that was easy. And never even blinked again. Don't care about what happened. Like, not to be an asshole, but I'm just like, bye. You've used me enough. You've fucked me over more than once. And I have nothing but good love for you and good karma for you, even though I'm pretty sure that's not what you're getting. But I'm going to send you good karma anyway. Because you're in the right alignment. And it's not a competition. In fact, I keep saying this over and over again because it's so prevalent for whatever reason right now. People are rising very quickly, especially the chosen are rising very, very fast, and the elders even quicker. And so there's a lot of people hating or people being in competition with those parties. Here's the thing: if you're in competition and ascending, you cannot ascend because you're still treating this like it's a game, or you're still treating this like you can be better than someone else, and you're not ascending. You have plateaued, and so you need to check yourself because I'm never going to see you. You can talk as much shit as you want, and we can be in media wars and stuff. The media war will look like this. Did you hear what someone said about you, Al? No, what did he say? Oh, okay. What about those things? That's about the extent of what you're going to get out of me. Because I just immediately I alchemize the energy. As soon as I hear that someone's talking shit about me, I just go, oh, that's lovely. So they're spending double the energy on hating on me, even though I'm not doing anything other than trying to uplift the world. Okay, I'm not. And then people are like, oh, you're standing on your soapbox. No, No, see, that's what lower frequency says to higher frequency in order to get them to drop. Stand in your power, guys, because that's how the only way you're going to get in alignment with God. Don't get triggered on the lower end, but don't get tricked on the higher end. If you are working for your money and you say out loud, I'm going to be an emperor or empress and I want an empire so I can build a kingdom, then you want to hang out with wealthy people. You want to hang out with other kings and queens and emperors and empresses because everybody else is going to hate your guts and they're going to try to pull you down. And they're going to say things like, stop thinking ego. There was a big switch that happened at the beginning of the year where everybody got triggered. It was a test. And I silently watched it. And I didn't say anything, but everybody was like, oh, you're going to see everybody's ego right now. And what happened? You didn't get to progress, did you? Because you were trying to limit people who were on the rise. Because immediately their ego went, oh, or the self-esteem was like not where it needed to be. And they immediately went down to your level again, didn't they? You have a longer journey ahead of you. See what I'm saying? Because you literally tried to do something manipulative. It's okay to pursue things as long as you're not doing it because you're trying to beat other people. Everyone on the planet is equal. And so if you're trying to help someone else by working with them and you're trying to help each other, that is reciprocity. That is the duality that we're trying to conquer and that we're trying to bring up. It's the ability to help yourself and help other people, not compete with other people so that you get ahead. If that's where your mindset is, then you are not in alignment with where you think you are. And so, again, the moment that you do something to be competitive with someone at that level, you immediately drop levels and you're down again. And then you're looking at this person who didn't do anything to you and isn't playing the game or not in competition with you and not arguing with you. They just go higher and higher and higher. And so now you're creating a stratified system and then blaming the world for it. Well, that doesn't work, especially not where I'm at. Or with people in general. Because here's the thing. I'm not the only one. And there are people above me big time. And there are people all over the place. It's just that we're not better than each other. We are all equal. And so I've just learned quicker, or I've just learned, I've learned quicker the reality of you can't compete against people if you plan on ascending because we're trying to uplift the planet, trying to help Gaia become a sacred planet. There's all this wonderfulness going on. But if you're at the lower frequency and you're at the top of it, then you're like the residue on top of the cake. You're stuck to the top of the lid and you can't break free and you're wondering because you're trying to compete with people who have broken through and who are, because you're still on the same level. It's just that one of you is above the plastic and one of you is underneath the plastic. And so it's a weird state of grace where if you get triggered, then you drop. But if you are trying to trigger someone else because of an ego moment where you still live in ego, then you're competing. And so when you compete, you immediately drop so far down that the other person immediately wins. And the other person has no idea that they were in competition because it's like they're not anywhere near that mindset. And so meanwhile, they're going to get all these endorsements and there's all this stuff that starts to play out at this level that I'm feeling, but that hasn't happened yet, obviously. But I'm registering more and more powerful people. And that's all I'm going to say. And they're registering me. And that's all I'm going to say on the subject. And so here's the interesting part. You also learn when to say something and when not to say something. When you're in the right alignment with God, you can only present the water to the people. They still have to go and drink out of it. Like I can't drink for you, and then, like that's disgusting. I'm not going to spit that in your mouth and you drink. No, no, you're going to do your own work. But I'm just saying that at some point you have to let the competition ego thing go, and that's when you know the ego hasn't died yet. You have to let go of that ego to be rebuilt in order to understand that concept. But here's the thing. The more energy you possess as far as hatred or dislike for someone and the more you put out to talk shit about, you just help them rise faster and faster and faster and faster. So if nothing else, I'm going to be kind and just say to everybody, you're only hurting yourself. You're not hurting me. It's not even, I mean, I feel it and it's kind of like, it just makes me like kind of scratch my back a little bit. Like, what is that? And not like in the degrading way that they do in like rap songs where they're like, oh, you can't touch. No, no, no. I'm like, what is that? What is that annoying? Like, I don't have like dandruff. What is that? That's the exact amount of energy I'm putting into the whole situation. And so that's the interesting part of right alignment is that you have to be careful not to try to tell someone at any level what to do. You can give your truth and testify to your story and how you overcame things and how you view the world, but at the end of the day, if you're then in competition with someone else, you've already lost. If you're judging someone else, you already lost. You know what I mean? Like there's no room for that. In fact, if you're trying to master anything, if you're trying to ascend this madness, whether this is a game, an illusion, or living in disillusion, or whatever you think, if it's somehow limiting someone else, then you are not succeeding at your task. This is about everyone working together and rising. And so just keep that in mind, guys. But that's how I found that I was in right alignment, is that that's how it started to present itself. And now the manifestations are just unreal. They're immediate, and I'm only seeing really strong signatures of really good people who are blessed and more blessed and more blessed. And so while all of the negative energy is, I can feel it, I don't see you anymore. And it's one of the things that I just want to say to those that are the chosen, or those that are coming into their abundance phase. Understand that the people that you feel are just as, this is the worst it's going to be right now. This is the worst it's going to be from here on out. Because after this, remember the divide we thought was happening in 2020? Well, it's about a month late for many of us because we weren't ready yet. And it was a group of us because there was just one last push, which was you had to get through the hardest part. Your greatest fears had to be faced. You had to let go of the ego. It had to go. And so now you're at the very end. And so understand that you've already separated. There's no going back. You cannot go back now. This is not something that you earn and then drop. The only way to do that is if you again start competing or going low vibration on you. But if you're living your past and you're in right alignment, then you are just literally about to not see these people ever again. And that's the next little step. And I mean, it's that dramatic because you've done so much good work. What I'm told is that we're about to just be lost of sight. There's going to be a point when most people that we used to care about will not even be able to register where we are or who we are anymore. And they'll be talking shit, and then it will just die out because they're going to acquire so much negative energy surrounding their lives that they won't even be able to look at Facebook or you be able to talk about you because they're going to be so consumed with negative karma that they're blaming the world for that they were the victims of. Meanwhile, they brought it onto themselves because they messed with the wrong people. And we didn't do anything. We didn't choose this. This is something that chose us. And so we're free and clear of it. So just understand the energies that are coming to you because it's going to be a little bit interesting, but that's how you know you're in right alignment. So don't let people trigger you. If they are of a high frequency but are still somehow limiting you and saying that you're acting out of ego, that obviously, oh, you're going to see people's true colors. If you get mad about inequality or child molestation or things that are really severe and really topical, then that person, you have surpassed them. And though it's not a competition, just understand that you cannot rely on them as much anymore because you're at a different level, right? Because there's still indignation to be had for, rape and mutilation and for people who are pious and then child molesting and then relocating. Like there's a reason still to be angry about that stuff because we are acting in right alignment with God. And since God can't physically sometimes, I mean, he'll show you, but it's sometimes helpful to be a man of service to God, and as someone who, like, I think of myself as a hierophant, just someone who is in agreement with the divine, that I will say what I need to say if he prompts me to, then to be that vessel, you're going to have to sometimes call bullshit on people who aren't at the level you are, and that's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's it for me on Alan Altruistic Channel. I will let you guys know what's happening tomorrow. Everything begins again as far as a little bit of what, the woe, not woe is me, but kind of a little bit of like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. So all of this is going to be layered and really cool, little stratified. Not stratified, I keep saying stratified. I think I'm just breaking through poverty. I'm reaching out of poverty right now, and I think it's just something that is not really that common. Because whatever we believe this illusion to be, or this game, or this experiment, whatever it is, we're about to become creators and create bridges to other dimensions and other places, and it's going to be by people who don't believe in limits. So I am not sure how it all plays out. I'm just doing my part, and I know that you are too. So let's keep in contact with each other. Please like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate that. And then if you want to donate to help me in this project, try to get a motel tomorrow or eat because my unemployment's up, go ahead and send me an email at KAHMOOS@MSN, and I'll go ahead and send you private information of how you can Western Union. I don't care if it's $1, $2, whatever it is. And this is one of the divine's final tasks for me, is to learn how to be gracious and accepting of help from others. And it's a big lesson because, as you can see, my cheeks are getting red. I find it super uncomfortable. But I'm taking the empowerment and the lesson for what it is. So anyway, that's it for me. You guys have a great day.